What's up, everyone? Good morning, morning. Hope everyone's doing well. Good morning, YouTube. Happy Friday to all of you, to all the traders out there. And let's see what we got today. Today, one of the main events on the session was the PPI, right? PPI came out pre-market here, the inflation numbers that could give us some kind of indication of what's going on with the CPI that's coming out next week, along with the Fed. So we had a pretty strong reaction to the downside here in the PPI. There's not really too much else to talk about. So main news event that we were waiting for this week, and next week, naturally, the Fed. So PPI, PPI came out hotter than expected, right? The PPI year over year for 7.4% versus the 7.8% forecasted, with the 8.0% in the previous reading here. So it is down from the previous reading, but still hotter than expected, which it's giving us some indication that there could be some kind of topping in this. So it just missed on the expectation rather than based on the previous. So U.S. PPI month over month, we have 0.2 expected, but we came out with 0.3. So again, hotter than expected. And then U.S. core PPI year over year, 6.7% last time. And then we had an expectation of 5.9, but the actual core number came out at 6.2. So barely a drop from last time's number, but a hotter than expected number that came out. US core PPI 0.4% compared to the 0.2. Previous was 0.0, which caused a downside reaction in the market, right? We dropped off pretty aggressively here. And there's somewhat of a bid trying to get caught up right now. We're going to be opening in balance yet again. So what does this mean necessarily for the Fed? We're going to have to see how the CPI numbers come out. But the Fed announcement next week, if we go and check the probability of the Fed hike, right? We have 50 basis points versus 75 basis points. Nothing's really changed necessarily. So as of about 10 minutes ago, right? It's still 75% expected for a 50 basis point hike, with a 25% expectation of a 75 basis point hike. Even the PPI didn't really change too much, even though the inflation numbers seem to have came out a little hotter than expected. So yeah, there is a topping pattern coming out in inflation, but still, it does seem like there is a long way to go to get to that 2% Fed target. So that's one of the main events that came out this morning, and we'll see how the market reacts today. But again, opening within a balanced area, we could see kind of sideways movement to close out the week before next week's big events that are coming out. One other thing to talk about here in terms of news, crypto, right? New disclosures. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, has revealed a new guidance that could require publicly traded companies to disclose to investors any potential impacts from the troubled cryptocurrency market. Moreover, firms may need to share information with their investors regarding their crypto holdings, as well as their risk exposure to bankruptcies in the emerging space. Lastly, they should consider risk pertaining to a company's liquidity position according to the guidance. So this is a backdrop from what had happened with FTX that filed for bankruptcy protection in November, and traders rushed for the exit in mass upon discovery of the multi-billion-dollar balance sheet shortfall, marking its demise as an industry's most high-profile downfall. So FTX is facing a number of federal investigations, including by the SEC, while the mess sent shockwaves throughout the crypto ecosystem and caused high-profile crypto lender BlockFi to file for Chapter 11. So all these recent bankruptcies, right, these massive drawdowns are the cause of this, right? And the crypto space is in disarray. But again, focusing more on the equity side of things, that's what I like to do here, looking at what these equities are. And the levels continue to hold as expected from yesterday. They're the same levels. We fell off the 3990 region here on the ES futures, and I'm still on the Z contract, which is the December contract. The volume is still thicker for that contract. We're going to be rolling over probably early next week, if not even like today. We'll see how the contracts shape up. There's probably going to be a very close match between the Z and the H. But the 3990, huge resistance point. We're going to have to go back and take a look at this 3955 region. That's going to be a massive pivot on today, just as it was pretty much the remainder of this week. And we have a level at 3965, 3970, 475. Those are three main resistance points to see if these sellers can come in at those areas. The key support this morning came out at the low 40s. That's an area that we have to watch. And naturally, the mid 30s is another area that we have to watch. The key area today 3915 to the downside. If we manage to break that somehow to this downtrend, it's going to open up a lot of selling. But realistically, opening in balance is going to be very hard for prices to break out of that balance. So far here, pre-market, they're trying to catch a bid, right? Nothing crazy just yet. There's a massive market maker gamma and delta wall at 396 on the SPY, which happens to be around the 3965 on the futures market. And that is an area where you're going to see the expected sellers try and hold this out time and time again. If we manage to flip above it, you're going to see a pretty strong buy stop run realistically. So coming into Friday, that is all I have prepared for you guys. Hope everyone has an amazing weekend. Shorter update, and we're going to be focused on what the Fed has to offer next week. That's going to be the main point of interest. And again, have a great weekend. We'll see you guys next time and chat soon.